All right, so up to this point, we've been using the Passport local strategy, right? Where we are responsible for authenticating the user. It is the user provides us with username and password, and then we check them out with our own database, right? So the way it works is that we have here our Node.js server. Somebody hits our server, and with the browser, they provide a username and password. We take those username and passwords and we verify them against our local database, right? And that's why it's referred to as the local strategy. Right? We check to see if the username and password works, and then we let you in, and we keep track of a cookie locally on a session, right? And the cookie is maintained here on the browser side, which is used for maintaining our session for the current logged in user. Yes, that's what we've been doing so far. What we'd like to be able to do is allow users to log in with other authentication providers other than ourselves. Okay? What we'd like to be able to do is say, hey, I want to log in with Google. I already have an account. I don't want to have to create a brand new account. Right? I don't want to have to create yet another account. So what we're going to do is that we're going to add in the login button, in the login page, we're going to add an additional set of alternatives. Right? They're going to be able to log in with Google or log in with Facebook or any number of third-party authentication providers. When this happens, what's going to happen here is that if they click on this on Google, the request is going to go out to our server, right? But our server is going to redirect. It's going to redirect that request out to Google. Right, so here's Google, right, to a particular URL, right, and then Google is going to ask the user to log in. It's going to provide a username and password, where you type the username and password against Google. This is Google's server. It has nothing to do with us, right? And Google is going to check against their own database, right? And then it's going to reply to us. It's going to reply to us at a particular URL. Right? It's going to provide the user authentication, right? The user information, right? Email, first name, last name, whatever our application is requesting. Right? Our application could request all sorts of things. Right? It could request for a picture. It could request for your birthday, your gender, your access to your photo library, access to your contacts. It could ask for all sorts of things, right? And Google is going to notify the user. Here's a user. Here's the user interacting with Google, and Google is going to notify the user, say, hey, this application is asking for all these things. Are you sure you want to give them access to all that information? And they'll be given a chance to check off yes, no, yes, no, yes, yes, no, no, whatever they want to provide in this profile information. Okay, make sense? Now, for this to work, I need to register my application with Google. Right? I need to go to a Google console, the Google Developer Console, okay, and register. It says, hey, I'm a brand new application. Right? I want to be able to use your authentication mechanism. And what Google is going to give us is going to give us three pieces of information, right? An ID that uniquely identifies identifies our application, right? So because I can have many applications, I can write any number of applications. Each application can be uniquely identified, right? Then a key, right? A secret that needs to be passed along alongside, right? And then a third configuration is to tell Google, right? Once we have successfully identified the person, how to get back to you, how to notify you. Where are you going to be listening, right? So here at the server, we're going to have to know. We have to register an endpoint, right? A web service endpoint, just like any other endpoint. We've been creating dozens of endpoints, right? We're going to create an endpoint here and we're going to register with Google. It says, hey Google, if once you know whether this person is exists or not, call this endpoint and notify us. Right? Pass the JSON to that endpoint. Once we have that endpoint, then we can decide what to do with that user. Right? Now it could be that this endpoint might have come back. The response might have been a failed attempt, meaning I don't know who this person is. This person is not a valid Google user. Or it can come back as a valid user, valid user. Now, depending on whether it's successful or a failure, then from within our application, we can then redirect them to either to the login page again because it was unsuccessful, so you weren't able to log in for real, or we're going to redirect you to the profile page. Make sense? All right. And these Google, Facebook, they all behave very similarly, right? And you have to register your application. You'll be given several configuration, and you need to be able to provide this information as you interact with the various third-party authentication authorities. That makes sense? All right, so I'm going to demo Google, all right? I think for the assignment it asks to do Facebook, but I don't really care which one you do. Right? If you do Google or Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, you can choose whatever you want, right? If you're, if you already have accounts on many other social networks, chances are that Passport already has a strategy for you. Okay, so feel free to choose just any two, right? Wait a minute. Then I'm going to validate it. I need Google. I need Facebook. That's the only. That's where I have accounts, and the TAs have accounts. So to log into your application, they'll use those accounts. But if you want to play around with all the other ones, LinkedIn or then go ahead. If you're a gamer, maybe you want to play around. Want to use Steam or whatever. I mean, there's tons out there. Okay. All right, let's play around with it.